So I have a bit of a weird background. Before I joined Unilever, I did some odd things like being a university lecturer in Shakespeare. I played professionally in a rock group for 2 years. I was a computer software engineer before I discovered marketing. I'm Steve Miles. I'm Global SVP for Dove. One of the reasons I was really excited about working on Dove was because I have 2 teenage daughters. I just thought a brand that is about real beauty and a brand that is dedicated to trying to make the lives of women like my girls easier has to be a really good thing. Although there was this tremendous fame about Dove, a tremendous stature that it had, actually underneath the surface, all was not as well as it might seem. Dove was a big worry for lots of people because the sales were going down, the shares were going down. Nobody wanted to work on Dove at that period. There were lots of people saying, no, solve the problem quickly. Don't take 90 days, just solve the problem quickly because it's too big a brand to let the problems carry on. So I just really talked to the team and I talked to all the stakeholders. I spoke to everybody in the team and I had a list of about 35 stakeholders and I went and sat with all of them and I asked them just 3 questions. What do you think is wrong with Dove? What would you do about it? And what advice or help have you got for me? What advice can you give me? What help can you offer me as we try and do this? And I just listened to people. If you've got a long-established brand, you have to do 3 things. You have to find what made it successful in the first place. Because I think great brands started with a couple of really great ideas that were very simple ideas that they executed really well. Step 2 is strip away all the stuff that's accumulated over the years, that's been layered on top of that. Try and separate the myths about what makes the brand work from the things that have genuinely built it and made it work. And then the third is do that all over again. Reinterpret it for a new age, a new society, a new consumer, a new geography, a new set of values in society. But just do the same thing all over again. Different people solve problems in different ways, don't they? So extroverts solve problems by just talking to as many people as they can and having huge workshops, bringing people together to help them get to the answer. And then high introverts, like me, I guess we tend to get all of our information, then go off to the cave, disappear from sight for a while, and come back with some hypotheses. And it's not about one being right and one being wrong, it's just about recognizing we do it differently. Unilever is passionate about diversity, and I think we just have to remember that that means not just gender diversity or racial diversity, but diversity of different types of people and thinking. And I think particularly in this area of crafting brands for life, where you're trying to mix logic with a load of magic, and we don't quite know what that magic looks like, we need this tolerance and this diversity in the personality types and the approaches that people bring to it, because that's how we'll get the good stuff out. Great brands are really simple things if you get them right. And I think we can describe Dove in 4 words: care, beauty, happiness, and real. No consumer ever sees your brand key. No consumer ever sees the manuals about how this brand works. So the brand can only work if everybody in the organisation who affects the consumer buys into the spirit of what we're trying to do, not just the letter or the theory of what we're trying to do. There are literally hundreds of great examples of how Dove has been activated. I guess my favourite is probably China. So 5 years ago, everybody said, campaign for real beauty, it doesn't work in China, it's failed. Maybe the Dove brand isn't relevant for what we're trying to do in China. 5 years later, we're now overtaking Olay in shower, our most critical category. And that was largely driven by the belief of the local team in China and the way they bought into not just the need to win in shower, but the need to build a brand through all of the digital work they did to create consumer relationships and empathy and provoke a conversation about real beauty. I would like to believe with all humility that in its own little way, Dove adds to the sum total of human happiness, because it is a brand that's trying to empower women. It's trying to liberate them from false beliefs. It's trying to give them confidence. It's trying to make them feel better about themselves, if that's powered by a brand that appears to have an authentic belief, an authentic set of values that are about just making the world a little bit better, then I feel pretty good about that.